Do you have an avid reader in your home? Well, then this layout is for you. I decided to take something that our daughter loves so much and create an oversized book to document these photos. Hi, I'm Katie Taylor at scrappinkaty.com, where I show you how to preserve your family's memories through the art of scrapbooking. In today's video, I am going to show you a Cricut layout and how to use oversized images to document your stories. I have done all the Cricut cuts off camera, and I am just going to start assembling these little icons. These images are from the Cozy Up digital collection from my website. It will be linked down below. But in this collection, you get a pre-designed 2-page layout. Here's a look at that, as well as some icons along the top, some 3D pumpkins in the middle, 2 cards, a slimline and a standard, and then several titles. In today's video, I will be using that book at the center bottom as well as some icons. Now, one thing I love about Cricut cuts is I love to add dimension by using several colors of cardstock, different hues, as well as using ink to edge distress those. So I've pulled out my toffee ink and a blending brush, and you can see here I'm just going over all of the little mushrooms and the acorns and fungi, and then I can start assembling those. Now, I won't do those all on camera, but I kind of wanted to show you a couple of them and just tips and tricks. So this sweet little snail is actually using shortbread cardstock. Because Close to My Heart's cardstock is two-toned, it's got the true color on one side and then the lighter color on the other. You can see just the variation and the distinction between his body and his shell. Now this is actually toffee cardstock, and I've used 3D foam tape to pop that up. And then later I'll finish him off with something that I thought was a spoon this whole time, and it took me forever to figure out what it was. On this one, I am going to assemble it with 3D foam tape, and then remind you that as you are watching this, if you are liking what you're seeing, go ahead and hit that like button. And then if you aren't already a subscriber, hit the subscribe button and sign up for notifications. You can also shop any of the links down below. But like I said, as you're watching, if you are inspired, simply by doing those things, it helps me out a lot. So here are the last little bits of little decorations, I guess, I'm adding to the mushrooms. And here is where that little spoon comes in. I know it's hard for you guys to see, but I finally was like, oh yeah, that's an antenna. So I'm just going ahead and adhering that to the snail. Again, it is the same shortbread color, but because I'm using the true side on his light color body, it really stands out. So I'm going to clear this off and then work on the leaves. Now there are several of these leaves cut in 3 different colors: honey butter, scarlet, and paprika. And I decided to use a background stamp from the Setting the Scene stamp set. I'll also be using this on the book here in just a second to create a tone on tone. So I've inked that up in honey butter on these honey butter cardstock leaves. That is the true color of honey butter. And then I'll move on to paprika. Paprika is also the true color. And then I am going to move on to scarlet. Now scarlet, I did use the light side of the cardstock. And again, this is just one of those little subtle things that's going to add a lot to these leaves. And the cleanup is easy on my glass board. I'll just take my chamois and some water and clean that up right quick. And then we can move on to the assembly of the book. So the way this book is you have a base, which is Harbor. Then you have 2 kind of base pages. And again, this is the shortbread. One is using the true color of that, and the other is using the light side. And I am just ink distressing all around with a mini blending tool, again using toffee ink. I'm going to repeat that process on the actual pages of the book, and these are cut using French vanilla. The finished size of this book measures 9.75 wide. Now for the pages, again, that setting the scene stamp set comes with these little tiny words. So I'm going to ink that up in shortbread. It's just a light color, and I'm just going to random stamp these words all over. Now these words do say something, but they are so tiny, and the shortbread is such a light color against this French vanilla cardstock that you won't be able to really tell what it says. But at the still shots at the very end of this video, you just can see how much dimension and character it adds. I am loosely adhering these base pages together, and then I will adhere them to the cover. Again, using tape adhesive, but I am staying away from that center of the book because I am going to stitch that offline. Here is a look at that stitch. Now I did leave my stitch tails. I kind of think that they mimic a bookmark, if you will. So on the actual individual pages, I am also using tape adhesive, but only on the center, because once I get this in place on my layout, I want to add some dimension to those pages, and I'll be able to do that with some 3D foam tape. My layout base will be built on a piece of rosemary cardstock. This is the light color, and then I'm just going to adhere some of these mushrooms down using liquid adhesive. Now back to my base. Again, I chose rosemary. It is such a wonderful color. It's got a green tint to it, but it's also gray, so it's very subtle. And once you see the photos that I've decided to use, she has some kind of bright colors in her outfit, so I did not want to compete with those, and so I chose very subtle colors. These mushrooms would be so cute with maybe some bright scarlet or candy apple tops. So if you are going to purchase this digital collection, you might want to try that and see how that looks on your project. So I've adhered the snail and the 2 acorns, and here is where I'm going to come back through with some 3D foam tape to separate those pages. And I'm going to pick this up here in just a second and just show you the amount of dimension. It's not too much. This layout will definitely fit into my memory protector without a whole lot of dimension crushing the other layouts, but I definitely wanted to add some because it is a book nonetheless. And then also adding that toffee ink to the edges also created some dimension. So I'm just going to finish that off on this right side. You might have noticed me running my fingernail along the edges. That also kind of adds a distressed look to the pages, because if you are a reader, you know that your pages get worn and torn, and so that is just the little bit of a detail. So you can see there the dimension between those pages using that 3D foam tape. So here's where I'm bringing in the 2 photos of our daughter. I've shrunk them down to 3 by 4. While I love keeping the photos the center of my layout, I definitely wanted this book to stand out for the reason that I told you in the intro. I wanted her love of books to really be told not only by the photos, but by this large book icon on this layout. So I've pulled out the sticker sheet to cozy up. You can see it's real fall related, but I am basically trying to stick to the love of reading stickers. So there's that one at the top that says good books are like best friends, and then I'm going to add 2 stickers on that right page that say read books and be a reader. And then I am going to add my leaves. Now the majority of these leaves will be adhered using liquid adhesive, mainly directly to my layout. There are a couple that I will come back through with some 3D adhesive just to kind of add some dimension, and I believe I do that up at the top near that honey butter sticker about good books being like best friends. There were also some leaves that I was trying to use scraps for, on my Cricut, and so it cut the top off. So you can see those are the leaves that I've kind of butt up next to each other or other things, and then that way you can never tell that I messed up. So I am done with the leaves for the most part, but I'm still thinking that this base needs something. That rosemary cardstock is just a little bit too stark. So I have pulled out one of the pattern papers from the Cozy Up. I'm going to tear this little edge right here. Again, kind of keeping in line with the torn and worn pages of books. And then I'm going to let that just peek in from behind this layout base. I'm going to apply some liquid adhesive or some tape adhesive, and then make sure that the words, I believe it says books to read, I believe. Real tiny print, but very subtle. I'm going to go ahead and add some 3D foam tape underneath that little flap. And then I'm looking at this thinking it's got to have something else. So the Cozy Up collection, you can purchase just the paper packet and sticker sheet, or we have a scrapbooking workshop. This stencil right here comes in the scrapbooking workshop. It is an exclusive element, and there is this little diamond shape. So there's actually a row of diamonds. Initially, I just wanted a diamond here and a diamond there, but if you follow me, you know that sometimes I just can't stop, whether that be stamping or stenciling. So I'm going to stencil pretty much a single diamond, and then I start adding diamonds, and then I start thinking about it some more. And so in the end, I end up going back to almost all of the diamonds and adding a second one, just offsetting it just ever so slightly. Here's where I think I'm done. Nope, let's put that back down. It still needs something. So I'm going to add just a few more diamonds, and then I am going to work on another little image in the stencil. There is a row of dots. So once I'm done, I'm going to take that tape off, clean up my stencil, and work on the dots. Now, while I'm working on the dots, in true Katy fashion, I get ink on my project. So again, if you aren't new here, if you follow me, you know that this is a regular occurrence here, but I want you to keep your eye on right there by her photo. I just touched down. Let me see if I can move and you can see it. But I do that right at the top of that little photo. You can see that little finger mark, and I also do it at the bottom. So I'm going to add some glitter dots. Now these dots do come with the Cozy Up. You have stars, hearts, and circles. You have plain colors as well as glitter. So I'm trying to stay within the glitter circles. Now one thing I love about our dots is they come in 3 sizes. So you have large circles, medium-sized circles, and small circles. Same with the stars and the hearts. So I'm going to finish that off by adding just 2 more up here near that tear. And I think I have that visual triangle all set. So here is a look at that layout. And then I noticed that I also got ink on one of the acorns, that smallest one down at the bottom. So my easy fix is to go ahead and sand that with sandpaper or a sanding block. Again, one thing I love about Close to My Heart's cardstock is there is a white core. So it's going to not only get rid of the ink, but it's going to add that extra dimension. So while I am showing you this, I want you to pay attention to the dimension as well as that subtle stamping that is on the pages of the books, as well as the stenciling and then the stitching down the book. Again, just showing our daughter's love of reading with this oversized book. So I challenge you, think of something that either you love or that your family loves. Search your Cricut collections or search my website for those digital collections and come up with a layout that will feature something that they love and make it oversized on your layout. You can add 2 photos like I did here, or you can add multiple ones. It's up to you. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching. If you have any questions, please let me know. And again, don't forget to shop the links down below, like this video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I will see you on my next video. Thanks, and have a wonderful rest of your week.